you hear her? No? I can't hear you, Renee.
I'm not talking.
No, but when you talk.
No, I can't hear you now.
Welcome back to A Prayer for Your Year. I'm Mike Lemon, and this is my wife, Renee Lemon. And we're live from the Hope Channel Canada studios here in Oshawa, Ontario.
Tonight we're continuing our special series, Prayer for Your Year. We're just getting started with 2026. Many of us have hopes and goals for this year. I know I do.
So what are some of your goals for this year, Renee?
I think my biggest goal for this year is to being consistent in the present and living in the moment. and not being consistent in trying to do everything perfectly.
Wow, that goes well with...
What about yours?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about thy kingdom come. So we're going to talk about what you were just saying now. So my focus for this year that I wrote as this year started was quality over quantity. In other words, do fewer things, but work at a natural pace and more obsess about quality than quantity. By doing a whole lot of things, you don't get as much quality out of it. Whereas when you focus on quality, you achieve a lot more than you would have if you're just running all over the place trying to get everything done. So
that's a good goal, love. That's a relief.
That is that.
Are we going to be doing less?
That's true. That is very true. So, yes. So tonight we're continuing our study of the Lord's Prayer. And so this is what we're focused on. So how can it be a prayer for your year? Well, this prayer shows God's heart for us, who we are in Him or in relationship to Him, and how we can live. So these truths that we have a power to transform us. When we talk about the Lord's Prayer, it takes us from who we are to who we can become through His power.
But before we begin, we want to connect with you. If you're watching Facebook or YouTube, drop a comment or use hashtag prayer for your year. You can also check in with us on social media and let us know if you have any questions. We love to hear from you. Let's make tonight a conversation.
Yes. So now let's turn to Olivia Pereira to kick off our study tonight.
Welcome to New Hope Perspectives, where we're learning how hope can change our lives. We're continuing our special series on the Lord's Prayer. For fun, let's listen to the Lord's Prayer in Tagalog language.
Ama naming nasa langit, sambahin nawa ang inyong pangalan. Naway maghari ka sa amin. Sundin nawa ang inyong kalooban dito sa lupa tulad ng sa langit. Bigyan mo kami ngayon ng aming pagkain sa araw-araw at patawarin mo kami sa mga kasalanan, tulad ng pagpatawad namin sa mga nagkakasala sa amin. At huwag mo kaming hayaang matukso, kundi iligtas mo kami sa masama. Sapagkat kung pinatawad nyo ang mga nagkakasala sa inyo, patawarin din kayo ng inyong Ama na nasa langit. Ngunit kung hindi ninyo pinatpatawad ang iba, hindi rin naman patatawarin ng inyong Ama ang inyong mga kasalanan.
That was great. I loved hearing the Lord's Prayer in Tagalog. It reminded me of our visits to the Philippines.
Absolutely, yeah.
And of course, there is Tagalog spoken here in Canada too.
So there's so many languages spoken throughout Canada, and I think it's sort of like perspectives on prayer too, right? We all have different perspectives on prayer. But do you think that it could be hard for some people to pray sometimes? And what do you feel about that, Renee?
Yeah, I think it is hard to pray sometimes. So, I think I have to remind myself that that prayer is a two-way conversation.
Yes.
It's a dialogue that we're having with us. So God, I can speak to God, but God speaks to me too, just like speaking to a friend.
And He can speak to us through His Word. Sometimes we can hear an audible voice, but
That's
sometimes,
right.
usually I think it's a conviction that we have in our heart and through the Bible. That's how God's spoken to me many times, even through music and listening to songs or through nature.
Yes.
So the person who taught me how to pray was my grandmother. And I think just teaching me the Lord's Prayer. But it wasn't just her teaching me. It was actually, at first, it was that, but I think it just changed as I read the Bible, and I saw different prayers in the Bible. I saw different people, like the prayer of Jabez, and then I just had different formats. Today, when I wake up in the morning, there are like 7 parts to my prayer life every morning, and I go through those, and it kind of just is a guideline, but it's not a straitjacket. It's more of a kind of a framework, a skeleton that kind of gives me a direction, a plan, and it also leaves time for, or room for me to express myself and my personal needs that are going on at that time. And I think that's an important thing, is to pray from our hearts and to say to God, yeah, this isn't just me having a checklist, but this is me authentically being responsive to you. And what are you saying to me, and what am I avoiding, right? So yeah, having that prayer life.
For me, that's why I really appreciate having a prayer journal.
Yeah.
So I have a prayer journal and I jot my prayers down. And it's also nice because then I can also see how God has answered my prayers.
Yeah, you do that regularly.
And write that down too. And that's very, very helpful for me.
You got stacks and stacks of prayer journals.
I do.
Because you've been doing it for years. Yeah.
I do.
Absolutely.
So let's turn over to Chris to hear what Canadians have to say about prayer.
That's what a prayer in Tagalog sounds like. But I wonder what Canadians think of prayer. Let's hit the streets to find out.
I think that I do find it difficult to pray sometimes. You know, when life gets busy, like you can forget. And a lot of the times, even growing up Adventist and being raised in the church, we tend to look for God for when we need help. But I've been trying to focus on praising Him and not just asking for help when I need it, being thankful for everything that He does for me. Like, everything that we experience in life is such a blessing, and we need to be more thankful about those things.
Not really. I always felt very comfortable with God, so it's like talking to a friend.
So what about you? Do you ever find it hard to pray? And if so, why? Let us know in the comments or on social media using the hashtag prayer for your year. I'm sure that we all share similar challenges when it comes to prayer. Maybe your conscience, things that aren't going well, and am I praying the right way? So let's learn from each other and support one another through this discussion.
So, Mike, you mentioned earlier on that your grandmother taught you how to pray, right?
Yes, that's right. So my grandmother was a searcher. She was always seeking. She felt that there was a true church and there was a true way of communicating with God. And so she was always teaching me things like the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm. And so she had a huge influence in my life. And I think if there's grandmothers maybe watching or mothers, I mean, you have an influence on your children. And she's definitely had an influence on me. Her prayer life was one that was consistent. And she discovered truth. She started out as Greek Orthodox, and she went to very many churches, Catholic Church, the Pentecostal Church, all kinds of different churches, and she would drag me along to these different churches, and eventually she taught me about the Sabbath, and she discovered the Bible, and really it transformed her life, and you could see that. And so prayer was a big part of that. So watching her pray and her commitment to God was huge.
So all the grandmothers, grandfathers, mommies, daddies, don't give up on your children.
Absolutely.
Keep on praying. God hears our prayers.
Praying for them. Absolutely. And I always think of Isaiah 49:25, where it says, I will save your children. So God takes that. He says, I will contend with those who contend with you, and I will save your children. So claim those promises. What about for you, love? Anyone teach you how to pray?
No, not that I can remember anyone teaching me how to pray. I mean, you know, growing up in school, we still had Bible as a subject when I was back in South Africa. And so I remember learning the Lord's Prayer as a little girl, and maybe, you know, when I went to Sunday school. But I don't remember anyone specifically, you know, unless it was my teachers. But like I mentioned earlier, for me, writing down my prayers and keeping a prayer journal has been very good for me and very helpful for me.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we'd be very interested in what your thoughts are on prayer and how do you pray? Is it an audible prayer in the morning? Do you do it just quietly in your head, or do you write it down like Renee does?
In this series, we've been learning different ways we can pray. Let's go now to Olivia, who will introduce us to another way we can grow in our prayer life.
I've been learning from my parents, Rebecca and Douglas, how to pray. One of the ways they taught me is the color prayer model. Are you wondering what that is? Let's go to Rebecca and Douglas and the Kazarichuk family as they discuss it.
J. Oswald Sanders said, "Mastering the art of prayer, like any other art, will take time, and the amount of time we allocate to it will be the true measure of our conception of its importance." Welcome to In His Workshop. This is where we practice the truth that we're learning about. And I want to welcome again our friends, Caroline and David. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
It's a pleasure.
It has been a nice journey so far, trying to find ways on how to pray and connect with God. And I hope you are enjoying those segments with David and Caroline. Today we have the color prayer model, and that's a nice exercise to do with kids, but some adults like that as well.
Visual.
Yeah, visual is touching, right? So you can have crayons, right? Our friend Heather, she got a few things for us to give examples as well, right?
So how would you call this?
Yarn.
Yarn, yeah. You can use colorful yarn.
Yeah, and you can go, it's very affordable. So colors, they symbolize on this prayer model a specific area to pray, right? So for instance, red, right? So I can, in a sense, say, okay, we are using red right now. So we go around and everyone will pray for forgiveness of something, right? So you can do that with your family, yourself. You'll say, I need to do this prayer. Here's the red. And you go and pray for forgiveness.
I was gonna pray, right?
You want to pray for forgiveness?
No, I'll hold it for now.
Right? But that's a way. Another way is just for you to have the colors out there, and they know which color means, right? And they choose the color for prayer. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
David, how would you explain? Because I like how David organized things, right?
He has a systems mind, right?
Has systems mind, right? So, David, do you mind to maybe explain a different way the basic foundations of this prayer model?
Well, I mean, we're all just kind of learning this for the first time here, Douglas, but if I'm understanding it right, each color represents a different type of prayer. So red for forgiveness, I guess you're going to tell us what yellow is. Maybe yellow is confession or something. I don't know, but yeah, I get it. And it could be anything, I'm assuming. Does it have to be popsicle sticks?
No. You can use crayons.
Construction paper.
Yeah, just different colors to assign. And I think that's the goal. And if you're learning for the first time, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
So usually we use red for pray for forgiveness. So again, you can pass along that, hey, everyone is praying for forgiveness now. So I go and use your time, or we can lay down and say, choose what you want to pray for in this moment of prayer.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Okay?
Then you pick your color.
That's right. So let's go to the second color, right? Blue. Blue is when you pray for God's presence and His peace, right? Is adoration. So you can, let's say, share with your kid the blue one, say, hey, Do you want to say something about that? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have this, right? Like it's
Yeah.
That's right.
tangible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's when the kids tell you, we love our father and our mother. They're doing amazing.
I'm so grateful for my parents.
Yeah. Green is, I like to say that green is the color of growth, the plants, right? So it's your own growth. It is when you are praying for help for your development or something like that. So if you had a talk with your kids, then hey, let's pray together for your growth, right? So David, let me give you the green one there to hold for a second.
Yes, maybe less growth for me, you know.
Or growth for your health.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, maybe you should have this one, Douglas.
I have done and didn't
You
work.
tried it, it doesn't work. Okay, yeah.
I don't think it works that way, unfortunately.
Well, the yellow one is pray with thanks for blessings, right? Caroline, let's give you the yellow one. Is there any blessing that you like to pray for or be thankful to God?
The Lord always is good to me, and He blesses me with mercy and grace and health and family and, time and purpose.
That's great.
Beautiful.
That's good.
We have orange. Pray for others and their needs, right? So maybe you heard in your work or in school that someone needs prayer. So you take the orange and pray. And again, you can pass along that color, or you can lay down the colors and say what you're praying for today, right? The kids memorize better than us, the colors and the meaning. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Try this prayer model based on colors.
That was a very creative approach to prayer. I think it's a great way to help us when we aren't very sure of what to pray for. And I think the children would love it. They always love it when you go to some effort. So what do you think, Renee?
Yes, I think that model really helps us to make our prayers balanced and relational instead of just being repetitive. And this is really what our children need. They need this during our family worships.
Yes.
When we can, as a family, with our children, approach God with our hearts instead of just with our words.
Yes.
And so I really like that color model.
I like that. I think that's the big thing. The family altar alters the family, right? And
Wait, say that again.
the family altar alters the family.
Okay.
So it changed. It's a play on words. So here's the thing, though. The biggest study ever done on family worship was to see what is the most effective way to pray or the most effective way to have family worship. And the number one way that they discovered was relational self-disclosure. So relational self-disclosure, that means that you are opening up to one another. So sometimes we usually think the best way to have worship is to have, sit down and do a Bible study and go through, a lot of stuff. But to really open up your heart and to give everyone a chance to talk. So one of the things for relational self-disclosure is forgiveness, what they talked about there. So do you have anything that, like forgiveness and talking about what forgiveness is and do you need forgiveness and do you need to forgive someone? Or talking about, did you have a wonderful day today, and what did you experience today? And then as you have that dialogue about what's really happening in the other person's life, then you can explore that in prayer, but then you can also look for something in the Bible that relates to that to make it relational. Yeah.
And also the yellow color was thankful.
Yes.
Thankfulness, or counting our blessings. And I think it's also important that when we do family worship, that we express our appreciation to each other.
Yes.
And tell our children and our spouses how much we appreciate them and how valuable they are to us.
Yes.
And how valuable they are in God's eyes. And then the green was for growth. And I think that is so important for us to discuss too with our children and with each other, what God has done for each of us individually, and how he's leading us individually and how he has blessed us. And then to put all of that together in prayer, and to be able to pray together and just worship together and just to come to Jesus as we are as a family, and just just honor him as our Lord. I think this is a great idea.
That is a very good idea. And, that whole relational self-disclosure idea is one of being honest with each other.
Yes.
And asking, what is it? Like, I'm not trying to be necessarily theologically correct or always correct, but actually being vulnerable enough to admit when I'm failing and when things aren't working, and ask for forgiveness myself, even of my own children or of you, or of other people at work or whatever, and just being honest with each other and honest with God, and having that safe place to be able to do that.
Yes. Yes. Perhaps you'd like to go a little deeper into what the Bible says about prayer. Hope Channel Canada has a great resource for that. It's called Hope Study. They have a course called The Unlimited Power of Prayer. You can find it on the website on the screen or by scanning the QR code.
But Hope Study offers even more than that. It's full of courses that look at biblical answers to life's many questions. They're all available online, completely free, and you can take them at your own pace. And I encourage you to check it out, because there's a lot of information there, and a lot of very good information. You really love it.
Tonight we've been talking about prayer. I believe prayer is a conversation between us and God. That means we not only can talk to him, but he can speak to us. Let's go to Chris, who will introduce us to someone who has an experience with God through prayer.
Ever feel like your prayers just go out into a void? They don't. God hears them and he answers them. Let's listen to Pastor Paul Llewellyn share a time that God heard his prayer.
So the Christian school I went to in Toronto, I eventually went back as a teacher. I was the Bible teacher, the religion teacher. One day we had a prayer circle, and this young lady named Rebecca came to me, and she said, listen, I want to go to Andrews University. It was a Christian university in Michigan. I actually graduated from there. And she wanted to go to school there. And she said, could you guys pray that God would open up a way for me to go to school there? Her mother had just been terminated from her position at the hospital. A year before that, she lost her father, and he passed away. So she said, I have nothing to contribute to university education except my grades. And she goes, I want to go to Andrews. I want a Christian education. And so the next day, as I was driving in, I lived in Oshawa, worked in Toronto. So I had a good hour, sometimes an hour and a half drive every morning. I would use that time to pray. So I said, Lord, yesterday, Rebecca said, she had a prayer request, and so I would like to pray for Rebecca. As I'm driving along, a voice comes into my car, and it was an audible voice. It wasn't a voice in my head. It was an audible voice in my car saying, Paul, in a very soft, gentle voice, I want you to give a message to Rebecca. And all of a sudden, tears start going down my face, because this is a powerful experience. When you hear God's voice audibly, tears start going down. Tell her if she trusts me, I will take care of her going to Andrews University. And if she trusts me further, I will also take care of her if she wants to go to medical school at Loma Linda University down in California. And I said, okay, Lord, if this is your voice talking to me, and I'm looking around at other cars passing me to see if I'm going crazy or something or another. Nobody's looking at me. They're all straight ahead, white knuckling it to work. And I said, Lord, if this is you, I'm not teaching Rebecca this semester. Let her come into my classroom at lunchtime. And if she comes into my classroom at lunchtime, because I'm not seeing her this semester, and it's a large school, I said, bring her in my classroom and I'll tell her. Lunchtime came. I got my lunch bag that my wife was really faithful in making me great lunches. And I open up the lunch bag and I put my sandwich out, my soup out there. And I look at the door and I look at my watch. And I said, Lord, Rebecca should be walking through this door at this time. Sure enough, knock on my door. Door opens. I could see what was going on in the hallway because we had a big window there. But Rebecca opens the door and she pops in and she goes, Mr. Llewellyn, have you seen my sister? I'm trying to track down my sister because her sister would often be in the classroom for prayer circle or something like that. And I said, no, Rebecca, I haven't seen your sister, but I need you to come in here for a minute. And so she walks in, she goes, yes. And I said, I need to talk to you. The Lord spoke to me today about you. And she just looks at me, with this big question mark, takes a few steps back. And she going like, is my teacher going crazy? I said, Rebecca, in my drive-in this morning, I was praying for you. I was praying for Andrews University, and God spoke to me to give you a message. And I asked him to send you into my classroom if this message was from him. And first thing you did was open the door, Rebecca, and you came into my classroom. So I'm going to tell you this. And he said, God told me that if you trust him, he will pay for your entire way through Andrews University. So her mouth is like open and she goes, well, I guess I'm going to Andrews University. So it came time for her to fill out the application. And how much does your father make? And she put deceased. How much does your mother make? She put 0, unemployed. How much do you have in the bank? And she's put 0. She kept on putting zeros on the financial questions that Andrews University was asking. And so Andrews University called her up and said, Rebecca, we would love to have you at Andrews, but don't you have anything you can add for your tuition? And Rebecca said, no, my dad's passed away. My mother's unemployed. I have nothing. And they said, well, unless you come up with, at least $7,000, Andrews not synoptic. We would love to have you. Your grades are top grades and we can give you a few scholarships, but you're going to have to come up with at least $7,000. This was, 30 years ago. And she said, well, I guess I'm not going to Andrews. So all weekend long, she prayed. Monday morning, Andrews University calls back and says, Rebecca, we don't know how to explain this, but your tuition's been paid for this year. You're accepted to Andrews University. You have nothing to worry about. Your tuition, your room and board, it's all been taken care of. And even the next year when she went to school, she worked during the summer selling books, door to door, which is one of the hardest things to do for anybody. But she was selling religious books door to door. She wanted people to know about Jesus. She was a top earner that summer out of anybody that was doing what we call literature evangelism, selling books. And she made so much money that it paid for her next school year. And every single year, her school bill was taken care of. I love listening to God's voice because whatever God says, whether he's talking into our mind, whether he's talking through the word of God, sometimes even when he brings friends that at different times in different places that say the same thing in giving counsel to us. God works through different means. He doesn't just work through the word of God. But whatever God says, he will do.
Renee, Paul always has these inspirational stories, and
sure
that was
does.
a good one. What did you think of his story of Rebecca?
I think it was so beautiful in the fact that God had a plan for Rebecca's life.
Yeah, honestly,
He has a plan for your life, for my life, and he has a plan for your life too. Knowing his will and trusting him is critical in the process. But I think we have to remember that Rebecca had to do her part too.
Yeah, she did.
She had to fill in the form and make the application to Andrews University. She couldn't just say, okay, I'm going to trust God and then sit back and, just by pure trust and belief that he's going to get it to Andrews. She had to do her part too. And so we have our part to do too.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus feeds the birds, but he doesn't drop the seeds into their mouths. They have to kind of forage for it, but he provides it for them. And so he provided an answer for Rebecca through Pastor Paul. Now, this is something that people often ask me is, what is God's will for my life? It's like, if they can figure that thing out, then they can just, okay, I don't need you anymore, God. I know what your will is. I'm going to just do it myself. But we need God through the whole process, right? So she needed to, yes, call Andrews University. She needed to be fervently in prayer, because there's a spiritual battle going on through this whole thing. So, yeah. What does it also make you think of, Rebecca?
It makes me think of our friend Jerry. God doesn't always answer prayers or have plans in the same way, because Jerry wanted to go into the ministry too.
Yes.
And he wants to become a pastor, and he didn't have enough money to go to Andrews. And so God closed that door and he became a bricklayer. But God used him in that profession and in that trade. He did ministry in that trade. He built homes. He built churches, and he even had an opportunity to preach.
Yes.
So God used Jerry in that profession.
Yes.
As a bricklayer.
As a bricklayer. So we think, well, God, I want to do this, and I pray for that. So I pray like Rebecca, help me to go to university. And for Jerry, that door was closed. And sometimes we say, wow, God, why are you doing this to me? But God is actually not doing it to you. He's doing it for you. Yes. And just like he didn't send the giant to David to destroy David, he sent it for David to promote David to higher. And so a kite, it needs wind to resistance to fly higher, right? So the resistance is there. And so in Rebecca's life, she had resistance. Her father passed away. Her mother lost her job, and she could just say, oh, life is too tough. But God was there for her when she needed him, and he'll be there for you too when you need him. So Pastor Paul's story, it gives us a picture of God as someone who is very aware of our lives, someone who cares deeply for each and every one of us, and someone who wants the very best for us and is working on our behalf. He's working on your behalf.
And it's precisely that truth about God that Hope Channel Canada is passionate about sharing with Canadians. And we wouldn't be able to do that without you.
Your support of this ministry helps truth reach Canadians wherever they are. All the programming, all the resources, the community building, it's all possible because of your generosity.
When you partner with Hope Channel Canada, you become an agent of hope. You help people see who God really is. You help people understand who they truly are as God's children. You invest in people in a way that can positively and even eternally benefit them.
So are you ready to become an agent of hope? You can do this at agentsofhope.ca, where you can choose to give one time or become a monthly donor. Or your gift is a tax-deductible gift. It goes directly to this ministry. You can also give over the telephone by calling 1-855-4-HOPE-TV, or you can mail a check to Hope Channel Canada right here in Oshawa, Ontario, whichever makes you most comfortable.
Let's return now to what we're studying tonight. We're doing a deep dive into the Lord's Prayer to discover how it can be a prayer for your year. let's turn to Olivia, who will start our discussion of this special prayer.
We're going through the Lord's Prayer, line by line, to learn all we can about God's heart for us. Before we go to Rebecca and Douglas, let's first watch this short video to frame their discussion.
How did it come to this? I was so careful. I had everything under control. I put a lot of thought and effort into planning everything out, right down to the details. It should have worked. Yet somehow, everything has fallen apart. It's spun out of control. It's gotten so messy. I've heard that the best laid plans can go wrong, but that shouldn't be. The best laid plans are the best. How can they go wrong? This time it did, but I'll fix this. Back to the drawing board. I can figure this out. Everyone will see that my way really is the best way. I can bring them round. After all, this isn't about what I want. This isn't about me being right. It's about doing something worthwhile, something meaningful. I just happen to know what that something is and the right way to do it. But it is tiring carrying this responsibility. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to, but if I don't, who will? I'll work harder this time. I'll give it more thought, more time, more energy. I'll get us there.
Have you been there, carrying the weight of it all, the exhaustion of control?
The belief that if you just think harder, plan better, work longer, you can engineer the outcome you want.
Maybe you're there right now, but deep down, you know the truth.
You're not actually in control. You never were.
You can't guarantee outcomes. You can't foresee everything, and you can't carry this weight alone.
But you are still trying. You are convinced that surrender means failure, that letting go means losing.
But what if surrender is actually the only thing that works?
What if there is a prayer that could end this exhaustion, not by giving you more control,
but by inviting you into someone else's? When Jesus taught, "Thy kingdom come," he wasn't asking his disciples to wish upon a star.
Thy kingdom come is a prayer of active surrender, a declaration that God's reign, God's rule, God's way of ordering reality is welcome in your actual life.
In first century Jewish context, kingdom, basileia in Greek, meant the direct governance and presence of God breaking into human affairs.
Jesus had just taught his disciples about a kingdom where the last are first, where enemies are loved, where forgiveness flows, where the poor are blessed and the powerful are humbled.
This wasn't abstract theology. It was a completely different order of reality, and you are invited into it.
When you pray, "Thy kingdom come," you're not asking God to someday fix everything in heaven.
You are saying, "Let your rule come here. Let your values overtake mine. Let your ways interrupt my plans. And let your kingdom be established in this mess I'm in."
It is the most radical prayer because it surrenders the very thing you have been fighting to keep: control.
Here's the tension Jesus wants you to feel. God's kingdom is already here. Jesus is living proof of it, yet it's not yet fully realized.
You are living in the already but not yet. You already belong to a kingdom with a king who never fails, whose plans never crumble, whose wisdom is infinite.
Yet, you still live in a world where things go wrong, where your best efforts sometimes collapse.
When you pray, Thy kingdom come, you stop trying to establish your own kingdom. Stop measuring success by whether your plans work out.
Stop believing that your way is the only way that matters.
Instead, you position yourself as a citizen of God's kingdom, where His values, His timeline, His methods are what actually count.
You become a person through whom God's kingdom breaks into the world, not through your control, but through your surrender.
Your job is not to fix everything. It is to align with someone who already has.
Jesus showed us what Thy kingdom come looks like in Gethsemane.
There, He was facing the worst possible outcome: torture, public humiliation, execution.
He had every reason to resist, to plan an escape, to fight for his preferred outcome. And he was honest about his struggle.
If it be possible, let this cup pass from me. He didn't pretend it was easy.
But then he prayed the prayer he taught his disciples. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt.
Jesus, the Son of God, the one with infinite wisdom and power, surrendered his agenda to his Father's.
And through that surrender, through his willingness to let God's kingdom come, even when it meant death, he saved us.
Jesus showed us that surrender is not weakness. It is the greatest strength. Is the only way that kingdom actually comes.
Jesus lived this prayer every single day. He surrendered his entire ministry to his Father.
He said it plainly. The Son can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing.
Notice that he didn't strategize independently. He didn't set his own agenda and ask God to bless it.
He watched. He waited. He moved only when the Father showed him.
When a Samaritan woman came to the well, it wasn't an accident. It was the Father's direction.
When he healed on the Sabbath and the religious leaders erupted, he was not defending his plan. He was following his Father's.
When he fed the 5,000, multiplied the loaves, confronted the money changers, every moment was the kingdom coming through his surrender.
Jesus did not carry the weight of figuring things out. He carried only the weight of obedience.
And that obedience, that radical surrender to his Father's kingdom, changed everything.
He showed us that a life led by God, not ourselves, is the freest, most powerful life possible.
Stop carrying that weight. The plans that crumbled, they weren't failures. They were invitations.
Every time your control slips, every time your careful designs fall apart, you are being offered the same invitation Jesus extended: surrender.
This week, when you feel that familiar urge to fix everything, to figure it out, to force your way forward, pause.
Pray those 3 words: Thy kingdom come. Not as a resignation, as a relief, as a recognition that someone infinitely wiser is at work.
Maybe the setback isn't a disaster. It's a redirect. Maybe the closed door isn't rejection. It's redirection.
Your job is not to engineer the kingdom. It is to welcome it, to align with it, to trust it.
That is the prayer that ends your exhaustion. The moment you stop trying to build your kingdom and start inviting God's kingdom to build you.
This is where the prayer moves from your lips to your life. Thy kingdom come is not just something you say in a moment of surrender. It becomes your daily life. When you pray these words, you are inviting God to interrupt your plans, redirect your steps, and rewrite your story. You are saying yes to a kingdom that operates by completely different rules, where the last are first, where enemies become family, where your weakness becomes His strength. And as you align with that kingdom, something miraculous happens. Your life becomes a living prayer. Your surrender becomes a song.
In the stillness of my breaking heart, I call your name, the ancient star. Not just words that fall away, but heaven's truth for every day. You're the Father I have known, more than distant, more than stone. Every ache you understand, every tear held in your hand. In your kingdom I belong. In your mercy I am strong. Not just prayer, it's how I live. Every moment that you give. Father, let your will be done. Let your kingdom come, come, come in the earth, in me now. Hear me when I call. You're the only name that's holy. You're the one who holds me. Loving King, I bow down to you. Make my life a prayer, make it true. Make it true. Give me daily bread to eat. Make my hungry spirit complete. But it's more than sustenance. It's your presence in my stance. Every moment that I stand, guided by your faithful hand. You provide the strength I need, planting me your holy seed. Forgive the debt I cannot pay, all the ways I've lost my way. As I freely give release to those who've stolen my peace. Father, let your will be done. Let your kingdom come, come, come in the earth, in me now. Hear me when I call. You're the only name that's holy. You're the one who holds me. Loving King, I bow down to you. Make my life a prayer, make it true. Lead me not where shadows fall. Deliver me, you know it all. Every temptation, every fight, you are my anchor in the night. When I stumble, when I break, you're the God who doesn't forsake. All the evil that I've known, you will conquer, you alone. And my life becomes a song of a kingdom deep and strong, where the least become the great, where your love rewrites my fate. I surrender, I believe. All I need is what you breathe into bones of disobey. You make beauty right
Wow, what a powerful song, and what a powerful study of that, or insights, I guess, that they shared with us on Thy Kingdom Come. So, what stood out for you, Renee?
You know, as I was listening to Rebecca and Douglas, I kept on going back to my goals about being more consistent of living in the moment and being present, and not consistent in doing everything perfect and wanting to fix everything and do things my way and being in control. Because I can't carry the weight alone. And this made me realize that surrendering is not losing control. And Thy Kingdom Come is really an act of prayer of surrender.
It is. It's an act of prayer of surrender. They talked about a lot of things. I was thinking about it in terms of relationships. Trying to fix, right? Always trying to fix everything. What does that remind you of?
That reminds me of Dr. John Gottman, who's the research scientist in relationships. And he actually speaks about two different kinds of couples. He speaks about the masters and the disasters. And the disasters are couples where they're constantly looking for things to fix.
They're trying to fix each other.
They're trying to fix each other and they're looking for everything that's wrong.
Right.
And then trying to fix it.
And the masters look for things to appreciate. So
And look for the best in others.
look for the best in others. So the outlook of Jesus, was he a master or a disaster?
Jesus was a master.
So he saw the best. He sees the best in us.
Absolutely.
Even when we see the worst in ourselves. Most of us are disasters in the way we look at ourselves.
True.
Right? We try to fix ourselves. And Jesus says, you can't.
No.
I'm here to save you. And I love you as you're my child. I love you and I'm pleased with you. And he sees the best in us. So the masters look for the best in one another. So this Thy Kingdom Come, Jesus was possessed of one purpose, it says in the book Desire of Ages. And that one purpose was he lived to bless others. So he was a master. He lived to bless others. When you say Thy Kingdom Come, what it means is that when God's kingdom comes into our lives, we do his will. We live to bless others as he did.
Yes.
So that means self-sacrifice and self-surrender. Those two things. So that's how Jesus lived, self-sacrifice and self-surrender. And so this Thy Kingdom Come is a surrendering of myself to God's kingdom. His kingdom is completely selfless. It's a kingdom of love. And it's a kingdom of the master who looks for the best in each other. And you know, when someone looks for the best in you, how does it make you feel?
Well, it makes you feel good and it really brings out the best in you.
Yes.
Whereas if someone is constantly looking for things to fix and they're finding fault, that usually leads to defensiveness.
Yes.
And that is not good in a relationship. It reminds me of that auditor who gets paid to find mistakes.
Yes.
And so for his wife's birthday, he decided to make an Excel spreadsheet, 3 pages long. Was it 3 pages?
3 pages long, single space.
Of all her mistakes.
Yes.
And how to fix them.
Yeah, he studied her very well.
He did.
Yeah.
No? How do you think that went, ladies?
Yeah, it didn't go down well.
It didn't go down quite well. No,
like
it didn't go down
balloon,
well.
and
Yet he thought he was doing her a favor, because after all, he got paid to do that.
he got paid to look for mistakes.
But that ended up in a disaster.
It ended up in a disaster.
Right? And so really, this is relational.
Yes.
Having a relationship with God. Thy Kingdom Come is a relational. We're asking God to come into our lives.
Yes.
And we actively surrendering and giving everything to him.
Yes. and his kingdom will come into our lives and make us like himself, living to bless others and looking for the best in one another, and not condemning one another when we don't get it all right.
Yes. And how about you? Has your understanding of thy kingdom come changed? Let us know on social media using hashtag Prayer for Your Year. Every time you reach out, we're paying attention. We're on this journey together.
And maybe tonight has sparked something in your heart and you want to go deeper. Praying forward, transform your life through the Lord's Prayer is a way to do that. So this is a thoughtful book that will touch your heart and give you an incredible picture of God.
Here's how you can order your copy. You can scan the QR code and follow the instructions. You can also call toll-free at 1-855-4-HOPE-TV. And you can visit agentsofhope.ca and fill out the order form.
When you get your copy, find a quiet place and take your time reading it and let the message sink in. Ask questions, take notes, allow it to shape how you understand God and his heart for you and his plans for you.
It's been a wonderful journey together this evening. I know there is much more to discover as we continue moving through the Lord's Prayer. A prayer for your year. We invite you to tune in again tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m.
So before we wrap up, remember, you can order your copy of Praying Forward by scanning the QR code, calling the phone number, or visiting the website. Let's keep the conversation going with your questions and your comments.
We love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media using hashtag Pray for Your Year. And if our program has touched your heart, consider partnering with us at Agents of Hope. And as an agent of hope, your support makes this ministry possible.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. God bless.